This is Moza Racing's brand new R21 Ultra. It's their flagship 21 Nm direct drive wheelbase. It's smaller, more refined and more powerful than the original R21, and I've been lucky enough to be trying it out since August. In this review, I'm going to look at the build specs, installation, software and real-world performance when it's actually sat in the rig. I'm also going to be comparing it with Moza's other wheelbases and rival models from Fanatec, Asterisk and Simagic. I've got to say, whilst Moza did send me this unit for review, as always, my opinions are my own. Moza have no editorial control as to what I'm about to say, and they won't get to see this review before I post it. Let's get into it. First things first, the fundamentals. The R21 Ultra delivers a sustained 21 Nm of torque from a flat-wire, zero-cogging servo motor. It uses a 21-bit magnetic encoder, giving you over 2 million points of resolution. In practice, this means an ultra-smooth, lag-free, and incredibly detailed level of force feedback. The housing itself is CNC-milled aluminium alloy with a rigid die-cast unibody shell. It's built to handle serious torque loads while staying compact and light, although light is quite subjective. Dimensions wise, it's just shy of 25 centimeters wide, 140 mils tall and 135 deep, or about 10 by 5.5 by 5.25 inches in freedom units. It weighs a very hefty 9 kilograms, just under 20 pounds, and mounting options include bottom, front or side, and trust me, with over 21 newton meters of torque, you'll want this thing bolted down tight. Connectivity is excellent. You get ports for power, PC, pedals, dashboard, shifter, handbrakes, and an emergency stop switch. Plus, you do get dual RGB light strips across the top for telemetry or aesthetic customization. I know full well that this is going to split opinion. I found them to be relatively interesting, but as mine are actually hidden behind my screens, the only time I see it is on my wheel cam for guides. Everything about this design actually feels quite premium. The finish, the tolerances, the internal cooling system. Moza's upgraded thermal management keeps the motor cool even during long sessions with no torque fade or throttling, especially as only Arnie or a man would actually want to run it at 100%. But that extra headroom does mean likely great longevity. You won't even remotely begin to push the motor, as opposed to say my old R12 or Sim Alpha Mini, which I ran at 100% and always during a long endurance stint. The feedback would start to feel fuzzy and the thermal throttling would begin. So let's have a look at where the R21 Ultra will actually sit in Moza's lineup. At entry level, there's the R3 bundle, which has a 3.9 Nm base and Xbox compatibility. Next up, there's the R5 at 5.5 Nm. Then we've got the R9 at 9. Above that, there's the R12 V2, which is the wheelbase I was using previously at 12 Nm. Then there's this, the R21 Ultra at 21 Nm. And finally, there is the R25 Ultra, also being released at the end of October. It's the flagship of flagships, producing 25 Newton meters and featuring Moza's True Torque sensor for even greater fidelity. The R21 Ultra is therefore the entry point into Moza's serious, high-end, even higher torque category. It's the base that bridges consumer and professional racing hardware. After using the R21 Ultra for 3 months, I would be hard-pressed to come up with an argument for needing more power, however. So let's talk cost and any value. At launch, the R21 Ultra is going to retail for $699 US. That's 799 euros, 699 pounds, and if you're down in Australia, that's 1,299 Aussie dollars. So when you actually look at the exchange rates and how much we're being charged, once again, the US market is getting the better end of the deal. Even so, that's far less than Fanatec's DD1 with a list price of $999 or Simagic's Alpha at $899, yet it does deliver the same torque class. It's worth noting on that, a quick check of their websites this morning suggests that they are releasing sales, maybe to try and combat Moza Racing. So even if you do want to go for one of Moza's competitors, we can thank them for actually bringing the prices down. Within roughly $200 either way, you're comparing to Asetec's La Prima 12 Nm base at $679 and Simagic's Alpha Ultimate at $899. Moza's very own R12 V2 sits well below this price point at $469. Nice. So in short, the R21 Ultra offers flagship power for mid-range money, and if you're already invested in Moza's ecosystem, wheels, pedals, dashboards, it really is an easy upgrade path. Let's talk setup. Now, like every other Moza base, it's plug and play through the Pit House software. You connect the cables, update firmware, and you're ready. Pit House has matured massively over the past year, and you can fine-tune every aspect of the base. The torque output, the damping, the inertia, the friction, and the filters. I'll quickly show you what my settings are, although next week I will do a longer video if anyone wants to see all of my settings for my wheels, for my pedal, and for the wheel rim itself. So here we are in the Pit House software, and as you can see, I have my details there for my FSR V2 steering wheel. I've got my M-Booster pedals that I've already done a quick review on, and this is my R21 Ultra base. So first off, I have a 60% of the 21 Newton meters. So I turn it down to 60%. That's going to mean that my base will last more or less forever. And if we actually go into the settings for the base, I will do a separate video on this, I've already said, but I have my steering angle set to 540%. I have it fully stiff on a limit. In terms of the force feedback intensity, you've already seen 60%. I'll let you see these. I won't go through them in too great a detail. I have some interpolation on there. I have natural friction set at 55%, damping at 15, natural inertia at 150. I don't know the reasons why I've got all these, but it's just what I have ended up with after 3 months of changing things until everything started feeling nice. In terms of the FFB equalizer effect, so I turn down the very high-end stuff, otherwise everything's just vibrating, but this way I get all the wheel body bumps, the ABS vibration, I still get the curb and grass effects. In terms of the force feedback curve, I just have it linear. I always keep my stuff linear. I have some startup music when I want it to come on. Button mapping, not changed anything on that. And then the base LED, so I have my telemetry effect, so the light colors on the side, set for RPM. So if you've seen any of my track guides in the last few weeks when I was allowed to start showing that I had an R21 Ultra, you'll have seen that. However, you can choose other things. So there's some really clever stuff here to actually make use of the RGB lighting. You can have it so that you can see how much fuel you have left, or you can have it to show that your pit limiter is on, or that the ABS is active, and so on and so forth. Wheel spin, wheel lock, turn left, turn right indicator, brilliant if you're using this to be on farm simulator or truck simulator or whatever, and then you can have it to also show your flags. And you don't just have to have one, you can have it so that it's showing the RPMs, but if a flag comes up, it will show that. Now, as I say, I just have RPMs because I can't see it because my actual wheelbase is sat behind my screen because I sit about 2 inches away from it. Oh, it's not probably the best way to do it. But anyway, those are some of the options in the Moza Pit House software. So how does it feel? In a single word, it's sublime. The feedback is clean, it's powerful, it's deeply communicative. You can feel every millimeter of tire slip, every curb texture, every bump transfer through the chassis. Compared to the R12, the extra torque means you're not just feeling surface detail, you're feeling the car's weight shift and momentum. It's the difference between a detailed gain controller and a physical connection to the road. It's also whisper quiet. There's no fan noise, no mechanical hum, just smooth torque delivery. After an hour-long iRacing stint, the base stays cool to the touch, but the extra power vibrating through your rig may mean that you end up having to retighten every nut to find that one loose one that's now rattling away from the base's vibrations. And it's always the last bloody one you come to, or it was with me. In terms of build quality and reliability, the R21 Ultra feels bulletproof, although I have to again mention that my experience can only be based on the 3 months I've been using it. But if going by weight and feel means anything, this thing will probably outlive me. The slip ring is rated for over 10 million rotations and transfers data at 2 megabytes per second, ensuring a rock-solid signal between the wheel and base. It really is a base built for endurance and performance, not just for short races or to last for a year. Alright, let's summarize the pros and cons. First up, the pros. It has huge sustained torque with exceptional smoothness. There's a compact footprint and industrial build quality. It's quiet and thermally stable. It has seamless Moza ecosystem integration. There is competitive competitive pricing for its performance class. There are, of course, some cons. First up, it is PC only with no console support. It does need a heavy-duty rig to handle all of the torque. It's still a premium investment for the new sim racer. Hell, it's a premium investment for anyone. Some tuning will be required to unlock its best feel in the Pit House software, although you will be able to find some guides for that. So who's it for? Well, advanced and or very serious sim racers who want high-end feedback without going four figures on their wheelbase. If you are on a lighter rig or you're just starting out, the Moza R9 or the R12 will serve you absolutely brilliantly. A quick note about the R25 Ultra. That's Moza's 25 Nm powerhouse with the True Torque sensor built in. If you're about chasing absolute top-end performance, the R25 Ultra is likely to be it. But for most rigs, the R21 Ultra already hits the sweet spot between realism, control, and cost. So is the Moza R21 Ultra the ultimate wheelbase for sim racers? Well, for me, the answer would be yes. If you do have $700 to spend on a wheelbase, it takes everything good about Moza's earlier designs. It's got the power, the precision, the ease of use, but it's been refined into a smaller, cooler, smarter package. It's powerful enough for pro-level feedback, yet approachable enough for anyone upgrading from a mid-range direct drive. My personal sim racing journey has been the T150, the TSPC Racer, the Samagic Alpha Mini, and now the R12 V2 before upgrading to the R21 Ultra. And it probably goes without saying that it's hands down the best wheelbase that I've used. A massive thanks to Moza Racing for sending it over for review, and as always, my opinions are my own and I will be honest with anything that you do send me. However, if anyone is watching this and they do wish to purchase the R21 Ultra or any other piece of Moza Racing kit and you want to help out the channel, I do have an affiliate link in the description. As always, thanks for watching. I've been Sambo iRacing and I'll see you guys on the track.